In the name of Allah, the most compassionate, the most merciful, and may the peace and blessing of Allah be upon His last and beloved Messenger Muhammad, and may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon you all. The title of this episode is The Law of Everything from the Guidance of the Quran. Now this is the first episode in a series of episodes showing the law that explains everything, showing how Allah the Almighty created this universe. Now this is a huge discovery from the Quran, and the title of this episode comes from a title of an article I read, which is called M Theory, a final theory of everything. So people nowadays, they are developing a theory called the theory of everything, meaning they are trying to find a theory that explains everything in creation, that if a person understood this theory, he can explain everything in creation. Now I will just state some of the basic pillars, basic principles of this theory. Firstly, it's stated here, a theory to explain everything we see around us, that the aim of this theory is to explain everything around us. Also it's stated here, although this theory has withstood nearly 30 years of criticism and rigorous research, so it has been developing for 30 years and it's not completed yet, and it needs maybe tens of years ahead to be completed. Also it's stated there that is a theory which makes the broad leap of assuming that the fundamental particles of matter and force are actually incredibly small vibrating strings. So the basic premise of this theory is that the basic building block of matter and energy is small vibrating string. So everything around us is composed of vibrating strings, and there are a lot of assumptions about what is the shape of these strings, their function and so forth. So this theory attempts to explain everything, and it has logic. It is very logical, because if you know, for example, if you have a car and you saw how every part was put together, then you would have a greater understanding of a car compared of looking at it from the outside. So it's logical to know the basic building block of the universe. So this is the situation with this theory nowadays. It's not completed yet. A lot of speculation, a lot of hypotheses. Now, in this episode I will show how to solve this matter from the Quran, how to find the law of everything. And I called this episode the law of everything, not the theory of everything, because there is a difference between a theory, a hypothesis, and a law. A hypothesis or a theory is like a strong hypothesis. It's like it tries to theorize at what the mechanism is. But a law is something which is constant, is something solid, so a very solid foundation. Now I call this episode the law of everything, because I will show in a minute how to know how this universe was created and the law of everything from the guidance of the last revelation of Allah God to people in the Quran. Allah teaches us in a matter of minutes the thing that took people 30 years to develop and still is not completed. So how can we know the basic building block of the universe from the Quran? Now the key can be found by pondering upon verse number 30 of chapter 21 of the Quran, which states, have not those who disbelieve known that the heavens and the earth were a weaved fabric, and then Allah God tore them apart, and Allah God has made from water every living thing, will they not then believe? So here Allah states, have not those who disbelieve known that the heavens and the earth, meaning that everything around us, the heavens and the earth, the universe as we see it today, that it was a weaved fabric, that the heavens and the earth, they were a weaved fabric. So Allah teaches us in clear, direct terms that the universe we see was a weaved fabric. It was like a fabric, was like a piece of cloth, was a fabric. Then Allah tore them apart, tore this fabric apart. Now if we think deeply about this, if we have a fabric, what is the basic building unit of a fabric? It's a string. So we can learn in a matter of seconds from the Quran that the basic building block of the universe is a string. So we see the beauty of the Quran, how it's direct to the point, and Allah gives you the answers directly from the Creator. The Creator teaches you the basic and straightforward everything that you need to know. So we come to the conclusion that the basic building block of the universe is a string, but because it's a fabric, Allah says it's a fabric, so you need to coil the string. It's not a straight string, it's coiled, because in a fabric you weave the fabric, so it's a coiled string. And in a fabric you need a minimum of 3 strings to make a basic functional block. So we come to the conclusion that we have a string, it's a weaved string, and we need 3 strings weaved together. So what we see is the basic functional building block of the universe, the 3 strings weaved together to form the shape that you see. So this is from the guidance of the Holy Quran, from what Allah teaches us in the Quran, that the universe, the basic functional building block, of course the string is the basic block, the string is the basic block, but these 3 strings, coiled strings weaved together, they are the basic functional block of the universe. And the assembly of these units comprises the fabric of the universe. So we see in a matter of minutes, we learn this from the Quran, what took people 30 years to start understanding. So this is the design of the basic building block of the universe. 3 strings weaved together. Now Allah also in the Quran gives us a terminology to use to describe them. Not only that He explains to us how these units, but He also gives us a terminology how to describe these units. If we ponder upon verse number 7 of chapter 51 of the Quran, which states, "And the heaven containing weaved ropes." So Allah teaches us here that the heaven contains weaved ropes. So these ropes, Allah states weaved ropes. The Arabic word used is hubuk. It's hubuk. Hubuk means something that is like a weaved rope. So Allah gives us the terminology to describe these units, hubuk. So when a person thinks about this term, it's as if you are seeing them. This is one of the miracles also of the Quran, that a word gives you a mental image of what's been spoken about. So this is the design of the basic building block of the universe, 3 strings weaved together. Also Allah teaches us their function. This is their design, but what is their function? We can learn this by pondering upon verse number 39 of chapter 41 of the Quran, which states, "And among His signs that you see the earth barren, but when Allah God sends down water to it, it vibrates and grows. Verily, He who gives it life surely is able to give it life give life to the dead. Indeed, He is able to do all things." So here Allah the Almighty teaches us His methodology in creation, and we learn from this that everything in the creation is vibrating. It vibrates and it grows. It's in a vibratory state. So we can learn from this that these strings comprising the basic building block of the universe, they are vibrating, and they are in a vibratory state. And when you think about it, when a string vibrates, it reduces in length. When any string vibrates, it reduces in length. So these 3 strings, when they vibrate, the basic building block is reduced in length. So there is a pulling action on its ends. So its function is to produce a pulling action, an attraction on the objects on its ends. So to summarize, the basic building blocks, 3 strings weaved together, they are vibrating, and due to this vibration they produce a pulling action on their ends. This is the law of everything from the Quran. Now in coming episodes I will show how this understanding, we can explain everything by it. The electron, the nucleus, the atom, energy, structures, everything. So, and how the crystalline structure of matter is held together. I will show, Allah God willing, in coming episodes, how by this knowledge we can explain everything around us. And to know more details about this topic, please visit my website at www.quran-miracle.com, and you can email me at zquran@yahoo.com, and may the peace and blessing of Allah be upon you all.